Hello, I'm Ashley King and welcome to 11 on 11. We start off with updates about a string of threats made against schools in Central Arkansas. In Conway, police say a 13-year-old is charged with a felony after posting threatening messages on TikTok, including that she would, quote, shoot the school up. Investigators say she did not have access to any guns and found no evidence of a plan to actually carry out the threat. They say she made the post because she did not want to go to school the next day, and now she's charged with a felony. An unrelated bomb threat also forced an evacuation at Conway Junior High on Tuesday. Police determined that the threat was not credible and the school is back to normal. And in Maumelle, police arrested a minor over a separate shooting threat, but are not releasing more details at this time. The city of Little Rock is now moving forward with a proposed citywide weekend curfew for anyone under the age of 18. This decision follows a recent shooting in the River Market that left one person injured. City leaders unanimously approved the curfew during a special meeting Tuesday night. Mayor Frank Scott Jr. says the plan was meant for summer, but recent incidents pushed the city to put it in place sooner. And many community members say they see it as a step forward to improve the safety.
I think that is a very good idea because as a parent, I feel like all parents should know where their children are.
I think it's very important to make sure our young adults and our teens are growing up in safe areas and they're, staying true to the law. And so I don't think it's a terrible idea.
This curfew started on Friday. Anyone under 18 must be off the streets between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. on weekends, unless they're with a parent working or leaving an approved event. Earlier this week, the Conway community came together to remember families forever changed by tragedy. It's been 1 year since the mass shooting at 5th Avenue Park that left 2 people dead and 9 others hurt. THV 11's Tamer Knight spoke with community leaders about the healing process and the work still being done to help the city move forward.
This is not Conway. The young people I know in Conway are good citizens. The young people I know in Conway are all about doing the right thing. And so we started at that moment to change the narrative.
April 13th, 2025, Conway police responded to 5th Avenue Park where nearly 100 rounds of ammunition were found. The deadly mass shooting sparking outrage within the community.
And Conway is really good about coming together when tragedy strikes.
In the aftermath, community members joined forces with city leaders and stakeholders to introduce the Change the Narrative initiative.
So in this effort, we're doing all we can to change negative stereotypes. We're also doing all we can to address misinformation. And one part of that is the podcast that we're now doing.
A podcast that provides a platform for people from different walks of life with hopes of reaching the younger generation.
And just having a platform for them to share their experiences so that the younger community can see what it means to have success, how to get that success, what it means to be educated, what it means to, quite frankly, change culture.
In a statement to THV 11, Conway Mayor Bart Castleberry says he's on board with the podcast, saying their commitment to creating positive change in our community, in their families, and among their peers is meaningful and needed. But what does changing the narrative look like, you may ask?
And so what I want people to know is judge a person by their character and not the color of their skin. What I want people to know is you don't have to be afraid, you don't have to be uptight, that African American men in our community want the same thing that others in our community want.
And while the emphasis is placed on African American men, Pastor Maltbia says the initiative is a community effort.
Simply say this is not a True Holiness thing. This is a Conway community thing. It's not black, it's not white. It is a community coming together to make this a better place to live.
And Conway, Tamer Knight, THV 11 News.
Thank you, Tamer. A sudden closure has stunned a tight-knit community of mostly local vendors. The Painted Tree and upscale flea market abruptly shut down after the national chain declared bankruptcy. THV 11's Catherine Rowley shares how it left one seller now looking for a new space to operate.
didn't have a ton of product in there yet, just because I was slowly adding to it. We hadn't completely finished like the build out.
Amber Redding, who owns Charlie & Co., was preparing to open her second booth. But just after 2 months, instead of moving in and setting up, she, along with dozens of other vendors, is packing up and moving out.
They sent an email out yesterday morning and said they were ceasing all sales immediately, unfortunately, and that there would be a skeleton crew there to help you, or not help you, to allow you to get your items.
The Painted Tree told THV 11 in a statement that the closures come amid a changing retail landscape, rising costs, and shifting market conditions.
I feel like we could have got a little bit more notice. I understand things happen, but just the day of, come get your stuff, it's pretty devastating. It stings a little.
Redding plans to keep her boutique going on Facebook and add another storefront. But other vendors, their search is still on for a new place to sell their goods. Enter the Cotton Shed in Bryant.
They're your neighbors. They're the people sitting next to you in church. They're the people at the table next to you in the restaurant.
Danny Martin and her husband own the Vintage Market just off of I-30. After learning the news of the Painted Tree closing, they jumped on social media, offering support and resources to affected small businesses.
If you're dealing with this, there are people here who are ready to help in any way we can. And again, we might not have a booth for you, or we might not have the best space for you, but we have other ways that we can help. We're also accepting applications for employment, because we know there may be some people who found out yesterday that they don't have a job anymore.
Vendors have until April 24th to come get their items. In West Little Rock, Catherine Rowley, THV 11 News.
Catherine, thank you. Arkansas State Police warning people about a scam where the caller is pretending to be with their Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. The caller claims to be Officer Jackson and demands a call back about an alleged investigation. State police say the scammer may also threaten a warrant if you do not respond. If you get one of these calls, hang up and do not share any personal information. On the topic of scams, a Little Rock man is sharing his story after falling victim to one to the tune of $25 grand. THV 11's Carter Thweet has his story and his warning for others who may find themselves in a similar situation.
I'm Robert Coleman. Everybody calls me Frisbee.
He's a man of many talents, as the nickname suggests, a world-class Frisbee player.
That's coming out of a double spin.
And these days, you may see him in the River Market, performing at Willie D's. But recently, Coleman encountered a situation even he wasn't prepared for.
It started last week. I got a call from my bank, U.S. Bank, which turns out to be what I thought was my bank, but it was not.
It was scammers using a spoofed phone number. They claimed there had been fraud on Coleman's account and even gave reference numbers for the fake transactions.
I guess when I read them a code, they had complete access to my account. And so what they ended up doing is they said they were the fraud department, but they were actually scamming me out of my money.
How much?
They got me for about $25,000.
Fortunately, Coleman is still working and making money here at Willie D's and elsewhere. But that doesn't dull the pain of losing all your savings to a scam.
It's devastating. It's all the money I had in the world, basically.
Coleman says he never thought he would fall for a scam, but the spoofed phone number and the person on the other end made it feel convincing. Now, he's got one warning.
I just wish I would have hung up that phone and called the bank.
In Little Rock, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
Coleman has been working with U.S. Bank to try and recover his money, and there are positive signs he might get some of his money back, but he says there's still going to be a wait that's involved. A major plan for the Pines Mall is drawing new scrutiny. Up next, our THV 11 investigation uncovers tension behind the scenes, and why some in Pine Bluff feel like they've been here before. Welcome back. In Hot Springs, kindergartners are picking up violins as part of an early music program designed to build skills from the ground up. The idea is simple: start young and let kids explore music, whether their future takes them to a stadium, a stage, or somewhere else entirely. Educators say the early exposure is making a difference in how students learn and grow. THV 11's Rolly Hoyt shows us how it's working.
A, E. ABCs learned through G, D, A, and E.
A,
4 musical notes of each violin string.
Find your note. There you go.
On the lesson plan every day at this elementary school.
The violin forces your 2 hemispheres of your brain to connect and talk to each other because you're learning emotion with playing music softly or quickly.
Angelique Ziegler is the strings teacher at Main Street Visual and Performing Arts Magnet School in Hot Springs, putting her in charge of a unique program. A quarter of the kids in this otherwise typical K-6 public school do their reading, writing, and arithmetic while also drawing a bow.
There's something about learning at a younger age that helps them to absorb the information. It becomes more natural.
The premise is what's called the Suzuki method. It recognizes how easily young kids learn their spoken language, and their brains can also pick up a musical language. And that ability can be applied to all their other classes.
You're also stimulating your muscles, muscle control. You're stimulating your memory. And music is math. All of it is math, so you're feeling the numbers and the fractions.
And that pays off within a few years.
I saw these people on TV playing the violin. I was like, wow, they're so good at playing this. I should try it out too. And then I came to school, and then I was like, ooh, violin is on the paper. So I asked my mom, like, can I do violin? And then she was like, yeah.
6th grader Christiane Joyce Yamgatwachi talks about her desire to grab a violin right away. She's now among the best in the school, as noted by the numbers of ribbons she's earned on her instrument. She already has stars in her eyes.
If I played the violin, I could be famous one day, just like everyone else. It's my dream to be a violin artist.
She's got a chance, and while concert halls may not be in every kid's future, Ziegler says growth comes almost every time for every kid, no matter how many creaky notes they make along the way.
I really don't notice the bad noise you get at the beginnings because that's just part of being a musician. So you have to be good at ignoring that part. And then it starts to sound really good. Then you get excitement and goosebumps everywhere. So A, D.
In Hot Springs, Rolly Hoyt, THV 11 News.
And then take a bow.
We're taking a closer look into the Pine Small project in Pine Bluff. A local realtor is raising questions about the proposed redevelopment, and THV 11's Tanya Motorzycki also obtained records showing tension over transparency and brings us more in our THV 11 investigation.
A project that could potentially reshape Pine Bluff.
I'm buying the entire mall.
But behind the scenes, questions about transparency when it comes to the Pine Mall project are already surfacing. And many locals thinking this is deja vu.
It's a here we go again type mentality.
Walter Washington, a realtor and Pine Bluff native, says Ed Pillar's idea of buying a mall for $62 million to make it into mall farm and marketplace, a hydroponic farm, is ambitious.
That type of project, we're not talking about a few months for construction time. I mean, construction time is going to be quickest, you're thinking maybe 18 months. Doing it in less than 12 months, that's pretty ambitious.
Pillar's claims his business as a 501c3, a nonprofit. He lists the EIN number on his website. And I found it on the Illinois Secretary of State's website, but not on the IRS website. Washington, who also has a background in public administration, says there are parameters when it comes to nonprofits operating as a for-profit business.
You have to really work within the confines of your structure. And being a 501c3 nonprofit, it's in the name that we can't utilize this entity to go seek investments to kind of, I guess, hide the risk, so to speak, so it can also potentially avoid taxation to a certain extent of those investments.
The city has not responded to any of our requests for comment, but I did an open records request, which reveals Pillar's getting upset. Pillar's and Mayor Vivian Flowers are in a group chat with another city employee discussing how to tell the public about this project. He told them he was closing and could not wait any longer for a news release and will do it on his own without the city. And he says this is crazy and says you will not hear any of anything from us. Mayor Flowers responding saying she's worked in government for 30 years and goes on to say, I've never seen or would myself send out an announcement as big as this without confirmation of completion.
Thank you, Tanya. According to property records, the Vu family still owns them all, so Pilars did not close on the property. We tried reaching out to him for further comment and have not gotten a response back. This story is an example of questions that are coming into our THV 11 Investigates tip line. And if you have a consumer problem that needs a solution, it's now open. You can call 501-590-4630 and leave a message. You can also email our team at investigates@thv11.com. Break. After the break, we're headed out to Pine Bluff for another story as part of our Red, White, and You series. The teacher looking to help students grow in STEM. But first, it's time to eat it up.
Oh, man. Yep. Get a bite of that. This week on Eat It Up, we are in Bryan and Saline County. Do I have a treat for you? We are at Enjoy Shawarma. Now, you've probably maybe never tried shawarma before. Let me open up your palate because this thing is delicious. We've got chicken, we've got beef, not to mention classic hummus and amazing desserts that will have your mouth watering. I've never tried most of this food. I hope you're going to enjoy it with me. So what do you say? Let's eat it up.
I came here before around 2 years. Yeah, I has like a friends here and some people that I know, and we start together. When we opening here, we try to make to bring the most popular food or dishes that we eating like almost like a daily in my country, as we use every day. Almost every day, like a shawarma, the falafel, the hummus. Hummus together is like every Friday or every Friday morning for every family in my country and the countries around. You know that shawarma, it's like a thin steaks. And which kind of meat we're talking about, or it's gonna be chicken or beef. It's like a thin steaks. We build it on a one sheet. It's going around to roast it on a slow fire flames that make the meat more juicy and rich flavor and keep the flavor on it. We can take like a piece. When you take a piece, you can feel like a crispy and crunchy outside and hushy inside with the flavors. It's amazing. And the most popular with the falafel is with the hummus. Hummus, falafel together, it's like a meal. Yes, sir. The customer asking me a lot of questions. I tell them, when you try, you're gonna get all of the answers that you like.
I don't know if I've ever had hummus like this, authentic hummus. Let's give it a whirl. Eat about a pound of that. It is so amazing. You could have this at a tailgate if you really, really wanted to. The falafel. This is the one everybody's talking about and so excited that's got folks going in and out of the door. The falafel. I'm breaking the fourth wall on Eat It Up. You gotta eat, Bree, you gotta eat one of those. You will love it. Beef shawarma, ladies and gentlemen. That beef is so full of flavor and it doesn't go anywhere. It stays right at home. Oh, you nailed it. I am in love with the shawarma.
Welcome back. A Pine Bluff educator is working to close gaps in the school where she works, one student at a time. With dreams of becoming an astronaut, she took her own passions for STEM to influence the next generation. THV 11's Tamer Knight has this week's Red, White, and You story.
Ask me how bad do I want to win?
How bad do you want to win?
More than you. And I get up every day like that, every day.
In Pine Bluff, opportunity is growing from the ground up, quite literally.
In our community, we're not exposed to STEAM as we should be. As far as African Americans, we're less than 10% in those disciplines.
But Laura Hidreth is working on changing that narrative through hands-on programs. Her students in Pine Bluff are building robots, growing food, and learning science in real time.
We have a hands-on immersive program. You're going to touch something, you're going to feel something.
From robotics competitions to hydroponic labs, students are not just learning, they're experimenting.
We learn about plants and how they grow. We like build stuff and we have snacks at the end.
Now check this out.
Hildreth says the new initiative connects science with everyday life, teaching students how to grow and cook their own food.
It's basically going from the garden to the kitchen, and we're going to grow things, we're going to put them in the garden, and then we're going to come back and have some podcasts where the kids are teaching us how to eat healthy. So what are we doing? Two things. We're showing them, but they're also teaching others. I wanted to be an astronaut, and I was told I couldn't. Because I'm a female, I'm African American, and I wear glasses. Could I change any of those? No.
Even though Hildreth's dreams of becoming an astronaut never materialized, she hopes to keep inspiring the next generation to dream big.
Well, everybody deserves a mentor. Everybody deserves to be heard. Everybody deserves to be pushed to the next limit. So that's what I do. But it's a continuous program, and it reaches all the way to when they graduate from college.
So it's clear the impact Laura Hidreth has had on the Pine Bluff community is generational, because a STEM education is more than just classes. It's a pathway to new opportunities in the Pine Bluff community.
If nobody else believes in you, I believe in you.
For THV 11 News, I'm Tamer Knight.
Tamer, thank you. And that will do it for our 11 on 11 on THV 11 Plus. Please join us again next week.